Taking a day off or having a cheat day while you're on keto is typically filled with high refined carb foods and sugary foods that we don't typically eat. You can argue that it is mentally a day off and lets you live a little, but what exactly is happening inside of your body when those carbs are flooding into your low carb environment? We are going to discuss that in this video.
Okay, so recently we hosted a birthday party for our daughter, who just turned 25. Congratulations, Kelly. And of course, there was going to be birthday cake. Kelly asked for a sheet cake, which one of my favorite cakes. I'm not much of a candy person, but I do like the baked goods. So I knew that the cake was going to be around, and I was asked if I was going to have a piece, and I said I would like to save a piece and have it the following morning, so that I wasn't mixing it with having burgers and sausage. And I stay very keto. I mean, I don't have any problem doing that at a party like that. I don't have any buns. I don't have any of that stuff. But I decided I would have my piece of cake the following morning and then go for my typical hike up the mountain. So the next morning, 6 o'clock, I'm up, I'm eating my cake, and this is a sheet cake. So, you know, it's a square piece of cake, 6 sides, right? A cube. This is not some lame-o cut from the center piece of cake with frosting on the top. This is a corner piece with 3 sides of frosting.
First one cut from the cake.
Yes, it was saved for me. So I ate that. I mean, it was good, but I'm going to be honest, it wasn't to die for. It tasted good. And I thought, you know, I'll go up on the mountain on my hike. I'll, you know, have all the sugar in my blood. I'll burn it off. You know, be good to go. That was the worst hike I've ever had on the mountain. I mean, 10 minutes in, I'm thinking maybe I should turn around and just come back, because I felt really bad. My legs were heavy. I felt like I could just barely get up the inclines. No stamina. I felt like maybe I was going to have to stop and sit down at a certain point. And that's what got me thinking. It's like, well, you know, it's exactly opposite of what I expected. So it's like, so
Why didn't you have
this
energy?
Yeah, so is this cheat day? I mean, could this be doing some harm to me? You know, all this sugar in my bloodstream?
Yeah, so the thing we always know about carbohydrates are they are quick energy, right? That's
Right.
what they're always billed as, and they are. But that quickness is what also causes us to lose the energy just as quick. And before I go into what I was going to say, you know, I was no angel at the party. I had cake and ice cream as well. I actually had it right after my burger, so I actually combined refined carbohydrates with fatty foods, which, you know, so I didn't have it on its own, but you could argue that's a challenge, because your insulin goes up and all the fat goes into your cells. So I will say though that I didn't have the experience that Keith had. I felt like I was able to, after that, then just stay on an even keel.
Right. So I got home from this hike, and I popped a continuous glucose monitor on. I had one sensor left, and I was pretty shocked to see my glucose readings down in the 70s. I expected it to be way high. Now, I didn't take one like immediately after eating the cake. I would imagine it was up in the hundreds, 20s, 30s, 40s, who knows where. But I'm just making that kind of assumption. Within a couple hours, though, I mean, it had shot back up to 100, and then it came down again, and it went back up again and came down. Yeah. So that's kind of that we've talked about, that pulsing of insulin. You know, my body was trying to get that sugar in and out of my bloodstream.
Right. So let's talk about what was happening inside of you in that morning after you ate a really high sugary food.
For science,
and then went out on a hike. So you've been ketogenic for months, and when we follow a ketogenic diet, we're not bringing in glucose, right? So we're running low on glucose, including the stored glucose that's in the liver called glycogen. Now, when you flooded your body that morning with a piece of cake, sugar right into your bloodstream, insulin right up, and glycogen storage went poof, right? There was room there to put that glucose away into storage. And so that takes all of that sugar out of your blood and it puts it in storage. Now you're actually at a low point.
Right.
And so not only are or you dipped down and have very low glucose to run your body, that high insulin spike cut off ketogenesis in your liver, meaning that you were no longer producing ketones either. So having that on an empty stomach robbed you of both energy sources, glucose and ketones. The end result was you could barely move your legs to walk your normal walk.
And this is our assumptions that this is what happened, because we just could not make heads or tails of it. But as we just kind of started sketching it out, it's like, okay, well, that would make sense. That would make sense. That would make sense. But, it's like so many times, like the opposite of what we expect, happens because you think about the simple thing is, the sugar is going to give me some quick energy, right?
Right. Carbo load before a run or something like that.
Right. Now, and so your body is pretty well adapted at certain fuel sources. We've talked about that in the past. If I was a Tour de France rider and instead of having, 5,000 calories of white rice and bread and things the night before a tour stage, I decided to have, a bunch of sausage, my body would probably not respond to that very well, because it would not be able to switch its fuel sources that fast.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same thing that happened to me that morning of my hike.
Yeah. Yeah. So then this kind of takes us into the next question, right? So, well, let's start with this cheat day. So did it really harm you?
Yeah, I'm guessing not. If you're doing a high carbohydrate, high sugar diet for a prolonged period of time, there's obviously problems that come along with it: prediabetes, cardiovascular disease, kidney issues. The whole gamut of all that. Short term, yeah, probably not. Was I a little bit silly to think that I could eat that cake and go do my normal level of physical exertion and not have any effects from it? Yeah, that was.
It may have been wishful thinking, for sure.
Yeah.
But you were talking about your glucose monitor. It goes up. Your blood sugar goes up and then it goes down after you've eaten that cake, which is unusual for you. When you put on these continuous glucose monitors and you eat keto, it's pretty much a straight shot across, right? So you're not getting any glucose reading at all, fluctuation at all. But after eating a single piece of cake in the morning, for hours after that, you're getting these peaks and valleys as your body is working to bring you back to homeostasis. And I would say that for me is why, the occasional cheat day is not doing us any irreparable harm, because the human body is amazingly resilient. So it is always going to work to get you back to where it is comfortable with, and that includes its blood sugar level. So occasional, what does that mean, right? So where is that fine line between having a cheat day and cheating?
Right.
So how we handle that in our coaching program is we have people set 40-day goals. And I find a lot of wonderful reasons that works really well. 40 days is doable. 40 days also allows you to make a lot of progress, not only just in your weight loss, but also, resetting the brain chemistry so that you're not craving as much of the sweets, and resetting the taste buds so that when you take in something sweet, it tastes too sweet and you don't want to continue.
Right. And for me personally, if I'm pretty strict with my carb restriction, maybe once a quarter, once every 3 months, I can have a cheat day. And I will say that I've had cheat days in the past and I've felt like really crappy the following day. I haven't slept well. But those were like days, right? We had number of meals. I was just certainly not expecting this from one piece of cake.
Yeah, we don't do that anymore.
No, we haven't done that for a while. But I don't know.
But there's a side of it too. There's things that you can learn from this. We all go through our days and we have our journeys. But if you do have an experience with a cheat day where you feel really, really bad, then good. Learn from that experience and then go on. Just stay with your regular diet for the most part.
Yep. Everybody needs to figure out where they feel best and what they can do and continue to make progress.
Yep. All right. So let us know your thoughts on taking a day off of your diet. Do you do it? Have you had a good experience, bad experience? Share it in the comments, and we'd love to see what you have to say. Thanks so much, and please subscribe. We'll see you in a week.
See you next time.